Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Done Dirt Cheap Makeup, and today we're going to be looking at the new Milani foundation. It is called the Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation Plus Concealer. Now this comes in 14 shades. They have shades that have neutral undertones, cool, and also warm, which is nice considering, you know, what your skin tone is. So they do have a variety of the different undertones, which is great. And it's only $9.99. I picked mine up online because my store didn't have it in stock yet, and it just kind of caught my attention with the name. Conceal and Perfect Foundation and Concealer, because I love a full coverage foundation, and I'm happy to say that Milani actually came out with a foundation that is true to what they say. It is a complete full coverage foundation, or medium to full. I did have to wear 2 layers, but you know, I have, you know, hyperpigmentation, freckles, red spots, stuff like that. So if you have, you know, perfect skin and you're just wanting to even it out, you're only going to need 1 coat, if that. This stuff is amazing, and I'm just so pleased that Milani actually came out with a real true full coverage foundation. And you know, if you have perfect skin and you're just kind of evening it out, you might not get what I'm saying. But in the drugstore, this is actually, to me, my opinion anyways, this is actually the only true real full coverage foundation in the drugstore, because somebody with acne and freckles and, you know, a lot of stuff going on with their skin, they're gonna really appreciate this, because it is, like I said, it is full coverage foundation. I feel like this day and age, or this trend right now, everybody wants full coverage. Not everybody, but the majority of people are looking for a full coverage foundation. So I'm going in the shade 2 Natural, and I like to kind of spread it out with my fingers first, because it is very thick. And you can see that it's very yellow colored, or very yellow in tone. And I go in with my beauty blender because it's so thick. It really helps me to move it around. So here's what it looks like up close with 1 coat. You can still see some of my freckles peeking through, but overall, you know, it does have good coverage just with 1 coat. This is 1 coat over the entire face. I am going to go in with the 2nd coat. I still have, you know, I just want more coverage, but like I said, if you don't have freckles or anything, you're gonna love this foundation because you won't need 2 coats. So going in with the 2nd layer of the same shade, number 2, I'm just gonna dot it, you know, smear it around where I need it, which is mostly on the cheek area. But you can see now with the 2nd coat, like, it's full coverage, full on coverage. Nothing is showing through at all. So here we have 2 full coats. You can see that I have full coverage. My skin looks completely flawless just with 2 coats. Now as for the finish, it is a matte finish foundation. It's not like crazy matte where you look flat. It does have a beautiful matte finish. I am wearing this now, and you can see, like, I have just complete full flawless coverage. And I'm also really happy to say it does not look cakey on me whatsoever, and a lot of that too kind of depends on what kind of powders and stuff you use, but I haven't had any problem with cakiness, and I cannot stand a cake face. So full coverage, beautiful matte finish. And then as far as the lasting power, it does say on here, it says medium to full coverage, which is true, lightweight, oil-free formula, long-wearing, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. I have tested this whole water-resistant, sweat-proof thing out. We have a hot tub in the back, and after I'm sitting in the hot tub for, you know, 30 minutes, I start to sweat like crazy. And although I won't say it's water-resistant, I will say it held up so good under how much I sweat in the hot tub. Like, I was so surprised to come back and look in the mirror and see that my foundation was still on. Of course, it did wear off in some places, but overall I was so surprised, because I just thought I was gonna look like a mess, and I didn't. So as far as lasting power, it's really good. I do notice at the end of the day that it's not as fresh as it looked when I first applied, but I have normal to dry skin, so this was a really, this is really great lasting power for me. And like I said, I tested it out in the hot tub, and it did amazing. The only thing I would not agree with this foundation is lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy or anything, but it's a foundation that I can feel on this skin. But it doesn't feel like a mask to where it's tightening around my face. That doesn't really bother me, just something to put out there. One more thing I wanted to mention, the foundation itself is fairly thick, So you're definitely going to want to use a beauty blender. I don't like it with the brush because it leaves stroke marks, but with the beauty blender it works really nicely because it, you know, it gives it that extra added moisture it needs to move it around. It's not splotchy or anything like that. It does not cling to dry patches, even though it's a matte finish. It's a really beautiful, well thought out foundation formula. On top here, I have the foundation in number 6, Sand Beige, and below it, I have the foundation in number 2, Natural. I'll zoom in a minute, but you can see just how like it blanked out everything on my hand. It's super full coverage. So up here we have the foundation in number 6 and then number 2. It's still wet, so if it looks dewy, it's not. I just wanted to show you guys, you know, the shade. So thank you so much, Milani, for actually listening to us. I feel like they took everything that anybody could want in a foundation, or most of us anyways, and they nailed it. It's in a glass bottle. It has a pump. It's medium to full coverage. It has a beautiful matte finish. They made it to have a decent shade range with different undertones. And the best thing of all, it's only $9.99. $9.99 for this foundation. Who would have guessed? I mean, I would, if Milani was here right now, like I would hug everybody that made this foundation. And this is not like a first impressions either. I've wore this foundation probably 8 or 9 times now, and I loved it every single day I wore it. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about before I just jumped on here and raved about a foundation. This is truly an amazing foundation, and I think it will, a lot of people will appreciate it too if you have acne and stuff, because you won't have to go spend a ton of money to cover up your acne. You can go to the drugstore and pick it up. And also, I haven't worn this without a primer because I don't wear any foundations without a primer, especially matte. But even with the primer, sometimes I find matte foundations will still, you know, kind of emphasize my pores and stuff. This does not. This does not at all. And I feel like this would be, you know, a $45, $50 foundation. It's really great. If it's not in your stores, you can order it online. And also with this foundation, you don't need a concealer. I did use a concealer not for concealing purposes, but just for brightening. So make sure you pick up a lighter and darker shade so you can do that, because you will absolutely not need a concealer with this. So anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video. Let me know if you guys tried this and what you think. If you love it as much as I do, please thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.